Yeah, Meyers, and going to do another video for you. It's weird as you get older, like you lose contact with your friends, and meeting new friends is harder and harder. And there's a guy I've never met before who, I feel like I've got a lot in common with him. I really like the fella. Never met him. At least not to my knowledge. And but I first became aware of his music years ago on the Junk Records cheap CD. Going After Pussy was the name of that one on Junk Records, which my friend Screwy Louie out in Long Beach had put out some of the best fucking shit in late 90s, so early 2000s. But anyways, there was a band on there, and actually it's my favorite song in the whole fucking cheap cassette, cheap CD of Dime Store Halos, called "Hate My Generation," and killer fucking song. Love the band. Great. Like everything about the song is great, great music, great lyrics, great, delivery, and then, so I kind of got into the Dime Store Halos, and the thing about the Dime Store Halos for me is just like really smart writing, like really smart lyrics. And one of my favorite songs by them is called Hot Pink Stereo, which there's a line in it where he's singing about like leopard print creepers marching in time. Basically like the song's about listening to records, listening to the radio, listen to music, and but there's this line about being all dressed up and nowhere to go of, leopard print creepers and stopping in time with the songs, and, Joey Ramone singing through Hot Pink Stereo. And, I've definitely felt that, over the years of, like Sioux City obviously had a lot more to offer than where I live now in Southwest Minnesota, as far as nightlife. And Sioux City was an hour and a half from Omaha, and so you used to see a lot of shows or whatever between Sioux City and Omaha. And Trey Lawley had this great bar in Omaha called the Capitol that because of the liquor laws in Nebraska or whatever, like they were able to do a lot of all ages shows, because like there was a stage that was like two old long skinny buildings that and the stage side was on one side, and then the bar was in this other long skinny building next door. But like he had, like, if I remember right, there was like 4 or 5 sliding glass doors between the stage and the bar, and depending on how busy that night is, like if it's a slow night, there might be one door open between the stage area and the bar where he put a bouncer there, or on busy nights, they'd open up more depending on the needs or whatever. And so kids were able to go to all ages shows there, even though like it was a bar, they had a liquor license. I think there's a deal in the Nebraska liquor laws about needing to have a segregated the liquor available is segregated away from like minors or whatever. Like I remember at the Ranch Bowl, they used to have fucking snow fences, and like the Cramps are playing or whatever, and they'd have a snow fence in there or whatever, like so anyways, but yeah, like the sentiment of Hot Pink Stereo by the Dime Store Halos, you know, being all dressed up and got nowhere to go. Like, I mean, yeah, I do want to, you know, wear what I want to wear. I mean, like, fashion has always been a big part of the whole punk scene, and you know, even the other things that you know, like the ska scene and the skinhead scene that has rolled into punk as we know it. You know, there are certain fashion items that you know, whether it be creepers or you know, Fred Perry shirts or Ben Sherman's, and you know, why is Ben Sherman important? You know, well, fucking Ben Sherman dressed the Stones when the Stones were first getting famous, and you know, so you know, and Ben Sherman's always had that mod sort of thing going on, you know, and so certain aspects of fashion and you know, like, I'm in a town of 1,700 people in southwest Minnesota. Nobody here knows the first fucking thing about punk rock, and nobody knows anything about fashion or whatever. And you know, here I am wearing a Lonsdale track jacket and, you know, pair of boots or whatever. You know, like, they, you know, they've got no clue that, you know, what they don't. There's a town in Minnesota named Lonsdale, and then, like, it confuses people. Like, what is that? And you know, or well, it's a British sporting goods company is what Lonsdale is, not the town in Minnesota. But I digress. Anyways, as I got into Dime Store Halos, you know, and I'm picking up on the lyrics and who's writing the songs and whatever, you know, I got paying attention to the front man, and you know, and he had a solo album, Chaz Matthews, and you know, and I don't know what to call him, Charles or Chaz or whatever, but Charles Matthews, Chaz Matthews. I've gotten to be friends with him on Facebook. We've never met in person. You know, he was telling me recently that, you know, he's really wanting to come to the cities because, you know, the whole replacements thing or whatever. And, you know, which, hey, you know, like, I go to the fucking Twin Cities almost every weekend. You know, I love the Twin Cities. You know, and it wasn't just the replacements, you know, the whole twin tone thing was, you know, a huge influence to me growing up in Kings Court. You know, like, the punk club I grew up in Sioux, Iowa, we used to get a lot of the twin tone bands coming down, so much so that, like, we almost treated the Magnolias like they were a local band, you know, because they were down from the Twin Cities so fucking much, and they were great. Every fucking time I saw the Magnolias, they were great, you know. Their song Fathers and Sons, you know, Die Hank Jr., Die, you know, like, you know, the Magnolias were fun, you know. You know, a lot of great Minneapolis bands used to come down, you know, and you know, and then, like, there's other stuff in the Twin Cities, you know. There was a whole amphetamine reptile scene, which, you know, I'm not really never have really been into any of the AMRAP bands, but, you know, hats off to them for, you know, being successful at what they do. It's not my thing, you know, but hats off to them for being successful at what they do. And you know, so paid attention to Chaz Matthews or Charles Matthews over the years. Chatted with him some on Facebook or whatever. Great guy, really knowledgeable on, you know, music history, pop history. Like me, he's a big fan of the originators, guys like Buddy Holly and Bo Diddley, guys like that. You know, so you know, I was telling him that, you know, like, he said something about wanting to come to the Twin Cities, and I said, you know, like, I live about an hour and a half from where Buddy Holly died, and you know, about an hour and a half from Clear Lake, Iowa, and The Surf Ballroom is pretty much untouched. It's, all original. I mean, they got the payphone that Buddy Holly called his wife on the night he died. So like the surf is pretty fucking cool, and then like the crash site, it's for guys like me, and obviously like a guy like Chaz, it would be. It's one of those pilgrimage type places, like if you're out in LA and, you go see Johnny Ramone's gravestone or Dee Dee's gravestone or whatever, or go to the Rainbow to see the statue of Lemmy or whatever, like it's that sort of deal for guys of a certain ilk, and to get to Clear Lake from where I live, you go through Albert Lee, which is, where Eddie Cochran was born, so there is a lot of fucking great history around me, but, like there's nobody around me, and like, it's weird here, and I don't have many friends, or I don't have any friends here locally. It's just me and Rhonda, and we go up to the cities a lot, so, it's just weird. So anyways, Charles got, things evolve or whatever. He got into a different band, the Cheap Cassettes. I've got a couple 45s of theirs, and like the 145 I absolutely love. There's a song on it, She Left Hieroglyphics and Lipstick, or Lipstick Hieroglyphics, great fucking pop song. And so somebody like Chaz being like a real student of pop and pop history, like it's not just going through the motions. It's knowing when to put the hand claps in the songs. It's stuff like that. He hasn't done it yet, but I think there's going to be an evolution here where he's going to have sleigh bells or some of the bigger orchestral type stuff in like some of the Wrecking Crew sort of sound, some of that Phil Spector, like bigger, with sleigh bells or maracas or whatever, just filling out the sound or whatever. It hasn't happened yet, but I see it coming. But anyways, Chaz sent me a package this week. This was their latest LP. It's Cheap Cassettes, ever since. So this is what you get. And there's a picture of the band. There's Chaz in the middle. So got the songs down here. And so this is out on Cassettes on record label. The CD was put out by Rumbar. Sioux has been doing some stuff with Rumbar Records where like they do the CD stuff, and Sioux is doing the record stuff, which has been great. Chaz sent me a few stickers here, and then Cheap Cassettes koozie. This is kind of a Rumbar thing. Every time Rumbar releases a album or whatever, they get these koozies printed up. Great, it's some people have said something about how Sioux has been sticking. At one point, I had a bunch of Sioux guitars combs made up because we were making pomade, and so there was Sioux guitars combs made up, and so I've been sticking a comb in with the records, and people have commented about getting the comb or whatever, and I suppose eventually if I ever run out of those Sioux guitars ones, just do some Sioux records ones. They seem to be catching on or whatever. It's just something to stick in a record that people makes you stand out just a little bit more. I don't use koozies, so I'll I've got a few of these. I've got like one for the Connection, and mono, monos. Can't remember what those guys are called, mono and stereo or something like. But that record, I've got a few of these from our koozies, but don't use them. I just kind of like when I get stickers and koozies stuff like that. Like I just kind of collect in a box of this is what people put in with the records or whatever. So anyways, I showed you the cover, white paper sleeve. This is a really heavy record. I mean, it's at least 180 gram, maybe heavier. I don't know. But it's really nice pressing. It's black, and this isn't paper. This is like a thicker card, and it's not. I don't know. There's some sort of coating on the inside. It's not a polyline, but and it's not waxed. I don't know what the coating is on the inside of this liner, but I assume it's some sort of anti-static liner for because the worst thing for your records is static. Just like wintertime static electricity. Like you gotta be careful, like cleaning a record. Like if there's a part where you gotta get the record clean, but at the same time, if you go too far, you add like you charge the ions on the record or whatever, and you generate static electricity of basically like in the wintertime in the upper Midwest, when the furnace is on and the air is dry, if you shuffle your feet in the socks or whatever, then you touch something and you get a little spark or whatever. That sort of static electricity is terrible for records because the vinyl itself, just the properties of the vinyl itself, and then you introduce static electricity to it, it just sucks dust and lint to your records. And so yeah, you want to clean your record, get the dust off of it, but if you add enough static electricity to it that just whatever you put brushed off of it, it just sucks right back to it. You're kind of defeating the purpose, So, like I wipe down my record with an anti-static rag and or use one of these anti-static brushes. Just do like a quick wipe, and the thing is, like, I don't get real wound up about it. I don't ever use like chemical cleaners or anything like that, because I worry about that liquefying the gunk, and then it settles down into the grooves of your record and dries and hardens there. There's one thing that goes in the groove of your records, and it's the fucking needle. So I do, I don't do a lot of record cleaning type stuff, but I do clean my needle on my cartridge quite often, and because the needle is the one thing that comes in contact with your records, and it's the one thing that can get down into those grooves to pull out the gunk and whatever. So as your record's spinning, right, and that needle's sitting there and it's dragging out gunk, it's a good idea to clean your needle often. And I pay less attention to cleaning the records and more to cleaning the needle. And I could be totally wrong, but so far it's working for me. My records sound great. This Cheap Cassettes record fucking sounds great. this is not an exciting record, like this is kind of like a melancholy record, and and for me, unless something really jumps at you right off the bat, like I always had a hard time with grunge, where or bands like Fugazi, people are like, you need to listen to it a few times before you really get into it. And it's like, why? There's so much great shit that I like right off the bat. But so this is like kind of a melancholy record. It's not super up tempo. It's not super. There's not a lot of electricity going on, and but the lyrics, I've been listening to this, like getting into it, and the lyrics are smart. I don't know. I mean, I like the Cheap Cassettes. Don't get me wrong. But this is definitely an album that you need to give it more than one listen, and because there's subtleties in it that aren't apparent at first listen. I've got myself into a position where it needs to jump out at me right off the bat, and taking a time with a record is something I'm not really accustomed to. So this past week, I've given this a listen to a few different times, and and I'm hearing it. I'm hearing the subtleties. I'm hearing there's something about Chaz's writing that there's a lot of melancholy. Like that song by Dinosaur Halos I was telling you, the Hot Pink Cereal that I like so much. There's a melancholy in it that I think he fucking nails really well, and and that's definitely an emotion that like I'm well versed at. A lot of melancholy throughout my life. The past year's been really fucking weird, and so yeah, dig the record. It's called Ever Since. I'll put links in the description so you could order yourself a copy. If you don't do records, you can get the CD at Rumbar. And there's the streaming or downloads or whatever also. But I like Chaz. I hope to meet him at some point. He's I don't drink or whatever, but he's the type of guy that I could see grabbing a pizza with, or whatever, and just shooting the shit, and he seems like a good guy, and I definitely dig his fucking music. I dig his bands. Dig this. Yeah, if you dig these videos, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video with some friends, tell your friends, hey, there's this fucking guy doing record reviews of punk and roll shit, that the guys into Sympathy for the Record Industry and Junk Records and Crypt and all those great punk and roll labels from the late 90s, early 2000s, and he's doing these record reviews where he shows the covers and he shows the album and the art, and plays a song. And the song I'm going to play for you is One Black Summer, which is the last song off the second side. And thanks for watching.